We all like being efficient and productive, and that often means doing several things at the same time, or what's better known as multitasking. The rhythm of our lives is just so hectic and fast these days that doing only one thing at a time seems like complete and utter luxury. Reading an essay when cooking dinner, scrolling down the news or solving Go problems when eating, talking and listening to music when playing Go.
I crack walnuts and play Go at the same time.
Wait, you've been doing this the whole time? Maybe now I know what your problem is.
No way! Should I try hazelnuts instead of walnuts?
Well, not really. Contrary to popular belief, multitasking is a lot less efficient than many of us think, and most people who probably believe they're good at it, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but neuroscientists seem to agree that we can manage our time a lot more skillfully if we focus on one thing at a time. So try monotasking instead. And in Go, we can't play 4 stones all at once. It's always one stone followed by another. And even though the Go board is huge and it seems like a lot of things and conflicts and fights are unfolding there at the same time, but we can only deal with them on a one move at a time basis. What I'm saying here is that once you have even 2 problems that you need to solve simultaneously, it becomes very difficult very quickly. Take a look at this. Let's say white has a 2-space extension on the side with 1 stone that strengthens it. And I've removed all the other stones off the board just to let you focus on this position here. And you should know that in this shape, black has this peep, which gives white a choice, which way white wants to connect. Sometimes white would connect like this, trying to get the territory on the side, but if this ladder works for black and white doesn't want to get cut off, maybe white will connect like this. And then black will try to separate, for example. Now white will cover like this. Black escapes with an empty triangle, and what happens next is very important. Before all this began, white had only one group to deal with. Now, white is split into 2, and that means that if white tries to run with both of these groups, white has 2 problems to think about. And if white now tries to escape like this or like this, then white is automatically pushing black to escape and split the white stones. Black will play here, and white now has to struggle with 2 groups. And the basic suggestion when something like this is about to happen, don't let it happen. When you have 2 groups, then just sacrifice one of them. So instead of playing here, trying to save everything and just looking for trouble, it's much better for white to give this stone up. It's only 1 stone. So white can cover it like this, cover the black stones. Black needs to come back and respond. And now these white stones have become even stronger than before. White built some nice influence, and white can even tenuki right now. And don't worry about the territory that you had to give up. It's not a lot, and in the future white can always play something like this. Black will be forced to respond, we connect, and now if black wants to keep the stone inside, black would have to connect here, or maybe play this, and this territory is only a few points. And white is now so strong on the outside that white can even think of using this wall to attack black, for example by invading here. So white had a chance to deal with 2 problems at the same time by running around with 2 groups, but it was a much better solution to give up one of them and strengthen the other. Just focus on this one thing. And here's another example from a single-digit cube player's game. Everything is normal up until this point, and now white makes an invasion from the wrong side. Black punishes this correctly. Black kicks, forces white to extend, and jumps. Now white can only make a very small extension here. Black attacks. Instead of helping these stones right away, white decides to open up a second front and invades once again. White plays right here inside of black's territory. Black's task is easy here. Just separate white. Black jumps, and this is correct. White tries to live inside, but now white has 2 problems to handle. So black just leans on these white stones. Gets some strength first. And after this, just caps the white stones. There's very little space here, it's hard to live. If you ask the AI right now, what should white do? The AI would suggest giving up these stones again. Maybe play here first, threatening to invade and save them. And if black separates, fine. Then we just help these stones. And we'll worry about these stones in the future. There could still be some aji inside there to use these stones later. But in the game, white tried to save them right away by hook or by crook. So instead of this, White played this painful exchange. White blocks. Another exchange. And white tries to make eye shape. But now black just switches to attacking the second group. Black develops on the top side. And instead of helping the stones, white invades yet again. Black separates. White pushes. And black extends, just naturally surrounding these stones. White tries to escape, and black simply extends toward his position. That's how the game continued. So in this game, white tried to deal with 3 groups at the same time and see what happened. These stones are barely alive, black can still attack them in the future. These stones are as good as dead. It's very difficult to escape with them, and these stones can be attacked next. So here's the basic principle. Check all of your groups on the board and see if there's one that's still weak or unsettled. If there's one, that's okay, but you just can't invade anymore until you settle this group. You know, they say that if you have 3 weak groups on the board, one of them is probably dead.
What if I really need to invade?
And that is the question that I asked my teacher once.
Here comes the cavalry! Attack! Hoo-ah!
And he told me that once I became way stronger, like those 5 or 6 Don kids, I could do what they did. I could attack while I'm defending. But before we get to this fairly advanced level, it's better to defend first, make yourself thick and strong, and only after this, using your thick position, you can invade and attack your opponent. And this is one last example. It's a game between 2 very talented young players. Both of them are around 1Q or 1 Dan in strength. And as you can see, they both know their Joseikis. It's white's turn, and in the game, white invaded here. It's not exactly the biggest point right now. White could also play, well, anywhere at the top, because the right side and the top are still open. But white doesn't have any weaknesses, so this invasion is possible. Black separates, of course. White defends. Black pushes. White blocks like this. White connects, and black takes a corner. The stone at the bottom is getting lonely here, so white made this exchange and extended at the bottom. Next, black pushes here. And in the game, white blocked and allowed black to cut here. However, now the number of weak and unsettled groups goes from 2 to 3, and white will have to be very busy trying to save everything. If you ask the AI, it will tell you that instead of this, it's much better to just let go, extend calmly, and allow black to play here. Just build a strong wall and keep everything settled. And even after this, when black cuts here, the AI thinks that it's better to give the stones up. Just play from the outside, allow black to capture them, and then maybe fix the shape, maybe extend here, without getting any extra weak groups. But in the game, white decided to save everything. So white Atari from here. And now white needs to push on the second line. And again. And now Hane here to live. And white is alive. But black gets a chance to Hane here and now attack these 2. And it could still be okay if white admits here that he made a small mistake and just gives these 2 stones up and continues playing as if they're not there. So white could just approach the corner, for example. But yes, in the game, white decided to save everything. So white pulled out the stones. And trying to help these stones, white created more weaknesses and more weak groups. And let's just skip forward a few moves and I'll show you what happened later. And now the 3 stones at the bottom can still be attacked. These 2 stones can still be separated and maybe attacked in the future. These stones can be attacked, and these stones are probably dead. It started as an even game, but now only a few moves later, white finds himself in a position where he's losing by 25 or maybe even 30 points. So to answer the question, how many weak groups can we afford to have in a game? It's better not to have more than 1. And if you see that you're getting more of that, then probably it's better to just sacrifice one of them and focus on saving the other. So even if you're a master of handling and saving your stones, you won't get many points with all those weak groups. If you save all of them, you'll just have 2 points there and 3 points here. You won't have a lot of territory, while your opponent is making points everywhere while he's attacking your weak groups. I deliberately mentioned multitasking at the start of the lesson, because creating and saving many weak groups is like when you're working and you're always distracted and interrupted by incoming emails and urgent phone calls and your boss just dropping off a folder of papers that have to be addressed by the end of the day. You just work the whole day, but it feels like you haven't done anything. Doing only one thing at a time seems like complete and utter luxury. So, reading an essay when cooking dinner, scrolling down the news when cooking? What? By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.